and good morning. Alright, so before we get this thing going, I think, hopefully, maybe kinda sorta, the wheel thing might actually work now. So, here's hoping. Let's see. Does it actually work? Almost, actually. Let's see. I think if we go ahead and redo this thing... It was just working a second ago, dang it. Alright, select subregion. View here. And does it work now? Okay. There we go. Kinda sorta works, right? We have that. That, apparently, it mostly seems to work only when I go ahead and, like, just change this thing as a whole. The change size, turn this thing to 150. Changes. Right there. Okay, so now let's adjust this just a tiny bit. Again, I don't really know why exactly it is that it does it this way. But for some reason, I just have to redo the entire freaking thing every time. And apparently then it'll actually work. Resize you down to here. And there we go. We're all set. So, first off, I'm not going to be able to change Denim to this just yet. But I want to actually give him an appropriate name as well as all of that before we actually get going. So I want to name Denim and the party appropriately, so what are you going to be? Let's change it 4 or 5 times. Can he actually be a griffin? I don't know. But he's going to be bird horse, all the same. Anytime the wheel is not around, I will attempt to just go ahead and take it off of here. Now, as far as this goes, we're essentially just going to use this wheel for convenience sake. Okay, first off, I'm just going to add 2 numbers together. If it goes above 12, I'm just going to minus it. So 4 and 7. Okay, so we've got 11. Not that this is really going to change much. For this one, we're going to add 3 numbers together. Also, this really cannot be rolling this friggin' long, so let's go ahead and change it a little bit. Do 1 second to spin. My wheel changes. Why does it take so friggin' long? Alright. First number 10. 2, so 12, and 5, so 17. I know, there's probably questions of whether or not this is true randomness, but friggin' close enough, you know? Okay, so. What do you owe your victory? Now, the way I'm gonna do this, 1 to 3 is choice 1, 4 to 6 is choice 2, 7 to 9 is choice 3, 10 is reroll. Okay, so that's choice 3. You stand at the end of a hard-fought battle, you owe it... Okay, we're apparently getting religious down on this time. The weird griffin bird horse guy. He's also apparently a cheaty sort, so you take your friend's lover, what do you do next? And apparently they're also the cheaty sort, so... Okay, we've got a bit of a hypocrite going. Hanged Man. Which actually, yeah, I saw somebody got a tattoo of this the other day. Naked variant, but, you know, all the same. So they apparently go and they're about to go murder someone for honor's sake. Yeah, this guy's a complete religious zealot. Choice 1 for this. You define victory by murder and everything. Neat. That's just wonderful right here. Let's see, what lurks in yours? Number 4. So, he's unhappy for his friends. Presumably the ones that got wiped out for doing crazy religious stuff. And all that sort of thing. Not, bashing religion there. I'm just saying way back when stuff was a little bit on the sketchy side, you know? Okay, so we're gonna skip that front part. I actually got an email last time of Squeenix being a little bit unhappy about the fact that intro music was in there. Oh, there's that, I suppose. Oh, hello there, Mr. Cow. Crossback Mountain, I'm not sure what that would imply, but that just popped in my head noodle. I think that came up once during an AI tournament thing. Alright, so Denim's just gonna sit here. They're gonna have their cutscene. Alright, 1 to 5 is 1, 5 to 10 is the other one. We got 3. Forgive our error, so we're actually asking for forgiveness this time. Good. We're not being a dick to lands. Alright, we're gonna ask, are we gonna accept their help? Yeah, this time we're actually accepting it. He's all for having help. We're just gonna pretty much go and blitz through this intro as you do. Probably in the future, I'll end up just doing this whole part before actually starting the run, if this run needs to be started up again. What's interesting is actually last time, so... by the way, I can probably take this off for the time being. So the way that the run ended last time was not actually something that should have happened. Granted, you should probably, you know, chalk that under friggin' well duh, but... he actually was not supposed to have access to grapes just yet. Thing is... okay, so whenever a bunch of stuff got moved around for one vision, Field Alchemy 1 is something that some early units ended up getting access to. Previously, it was a completely different skill in that slot, so what ended up happening is he had a skill that he technically shouldn't have had yet. So yeah, pretty much since Field Alchemy is what used to be Field Alchemy 2, which would have been impossible to have by that point, it's not something that he should have had access to, and therefore there would have been the possibility of winning. Odds are he still probably would have used a Mend Leaf, and, you know, it still would have been sketchy at best, but it would have still been realistically possible. So hopefully this time stuff goes a little bit better. Maybe Canopus can actually hit something, if he even joins the party. By the way, Mr. Cow, is the sound coming through alright? See, that I found on Google, so 3 versions of the formula front have the same parts. Not exactly. So when it comes to Formula Front, while there are technically 3 different versions, you got English, Japanese, and then you got International. So International is the one that has all of them. I don't believe the English or Japanese ones added or removed parts in any way. But yeah, no. International and the other 2 do have different parts, because International adds the cloned parts and all of that sort of thing. Adds a few extra parts, but yeah, the other 2 versions are identical aside from language, I believe. So yeah. Lands will just go and completely obliterate everything, because that's what he does. I do love the way that they handle lands in this, though. It's just like an FFT with Gafgarian. They're like, here's this cool, awesome guy that can beat everything, and then before the end of the game, they're like, well, the step didn't go so hot for him, so there's that. Actually, come to think of it, no, I can't turn Denim into a Griffin because there's no class mark for that. I do have to reroll his class. Whatever, his name is still Bird Horse. He's a matriarch. Alright, cool. I always wanted to try those out. Got a patri or matriarch. Okay, just don't want to submit an AC with non-existent parts. So basically here's the thing. If you take anything that would have been available in Last Raven, odds are it'll be there. Or, well, specifically Ninebreaker, I guess I should say. So, how do I put it? So the triple variants, like you got the variants on the Ananda, got the variants on just on the different generators and stuff like that. So the alternate variants, you know, just don't use them. When it comes to weapon types, I believe the Silky... Let's see. I know Silky was on there. So I'm pretty sure Silky is one of the ones you can't have. That being said, you know, why the hell would anyone use the Silky anyway? Okay, if you... Dang it. Tell you what. Put it together. I have a standard version just lying around. And I can probably just double check the parts for you. I can do it that way. And this guy's upset that we're meddling with their affairs. Which is funny because this is probably the least meddlesome thing that happens the entire time. So what's going on in the background during this whole thing? So Ravenous and her group show up, they scare off the main army here, which is why this place is left completely undefended. Which you end up finding out later. They're like, yeah, no, you guys were totally gonna die if you carried out your plan on literally any other day. So pretty much everyone that would normally be at this castle is just gone. And yeah, the only ones here are this unfortunate bastard and the other one. So you got Ogres, and you got all these guys that are basically just kind of here. Ooh. Sweet. Some more sweet, sweet leather. Yeah, Silky, what a loss, right? Which is funny because the second place person from that tournament had a Silky. Just because it was Etsum Nar, and friggin' Etsum is amazing. And it's funny because there's only very, very specific circumstances where the Silky can actually be useful. And it's only when somebody has, like, just a crap load of spare energy and nothing to do with it. And they have enough DPS to kind of start that whole stagger race going. So I have a feeling that they had a kind of hidden stagger mechanic when it came to a lot of high DPS things. Because it kind of seemed like the Silky went and did a lot more punching stuff as soon as it got past that point. It's like, for example, both Etsum Nar and Damon had the exact same thing, where they seem to be doing way more DPS than should be usual. But then if you have another build that, you know, for example, is just going and using the Silky by itself, the thing is just garbage. Like, it doesn't do anything. It's very strange. I guess the main idea behind that build is just it's high DPS pecking away at whatever the thing is weak to. So unless it's a tank, actually in Etsum Nar's case it would be both things, because they've got a shell build, and they've got the Silky, say they've got an energy build, then they've got the Gatling gun, and then pretty much for anything else there's all the heat damage from the Spar Toy and the extensions. So, I don't know, I guess. It's Pulse Weapon that is better than the Silky, because Wide and Shallow Lock, that's still a good point. Even then, you know, it's still, like, by and large, its only usefulness seems to be as a left-hand thing when complemented with a machine gun for some reason. Like, it can't serve as the primary anything to anything. I don't know. Strange balance. Probably one of those things that would give a little bit of a nudge up if I ever had the means to go and mod that game. But I don't, because I is dumb. Such is life. Such is life. Right, get over here, delicious coffee. This ridiculously good sale going the other day for new kinds of creamer, and they had one that was a mocha. Freaking mochas are amazing. I wonder what kind of build Bird Horse wound up with. I just like to think he's like the local Indian chief or something. Is the noble Bird Horse. That sounds mildly racist. Ohio Nation is such a depressing place, though. Not entirely relevant, but I'm just saying, like, stuff's dire over there. I'm honestly surprised that there hasn't been more news about it. There's all this stuff like, oh, you know, there's all this bad stuff happening in this, that, or the other city. All this other stuff, and, like, here's a place that looks like the frickin' apocalypse. Why is nobody mentioning this? Like, well, I guess we just don't care or something. Torn between Overlord and Godslayer? So here's the funny thing. Godslayer can beat Overlord, but I'm pretty sure the Overlord can actually beat a lot more stuff. So just in general, honestly, between the two I would go for Overlord. And probably slap some ECM rockets on that thing. Okay, let's see, is it the Patriarch, Matriarch? Yeah, he's gonna be the Order of Horse Falcon. Sounds pretty awesome. Are we gonna have enough letters, though? Hopefully. Yeah, gonna have just enough. The Order of Horse Falcon! Oh man, should have called it Steed Falcon or something. There's Ravenous talking about how great she is, etc. As Casual get all pissed, as she usually does, making probably the only astute observation that isn't somehow horrible in the entire game. Like, yeah, I hope we're not around when she falls off her pedestal. Due to, like, next week where she gets shot in the face. So, you will absolutely be there, it just kind of depends. Okay. So, first off, save state. Just in case stuff goes wrong. Now, let's turn you into a Matriarch. He's a Patriarch! Capable leader on the field. Alright, good. What kind of stuff can you learn? We still got... Okay, so he gets Meditate, so that's good. Get Coax. Got all the wards, because everybody does. He's got an Instill. Like I said, I almost never use this class, so I don't know what's new with it. He's got all his casting abilities. Do you have spears or just cudgels? Okay. Daggers, cudgels, whips, spellbooks, sidearms. Not have expected sidearms on here. Okay. Let's see if the wheel pops up. Come on, wheel. I know you can do it. Come on. Just give it a minute. Okay, let's try it here. Subregion. Select subregion. Let's set it up again. See if that allows it to work. Why it just doesn't work, I don't know. Go. Okay, and we're still not. What's wrong with this thing? I don't get it. I don't understand at friggin' all. Supposed to be able to capture everything, so I don't know why it doesn't do anything here. What happens if I... What happens if I turn this off? Does it pop up at all? No. No, it doesn't. Alright, whatever, screw it. If it shows up, it shows up. Can't use that. EP Shaver, can't use that. Tenderizers, can't use that. Harassment Bow, still can't use that. Spear Gun, no, you still can't use that either. Fists, no. The best gun ever, no. Man Swords, no. Really wants Man Swords for some reason, just rolled that 3 times in a row. One-handed swords. Tenderizers again. There we go, sidearms. So we got sidearms. Which I would show if it ever wanted to bother showing up. Hang on, what happens if we center it? Fit to screen? Is it just showing up tiny or something? No. Screw it, I don't know. Okay, we've got that, and we've got just enough stuff for an element here, so... What do we got? Wind? Yeah, wind. He's the Wind Patriarch. I was hoping you would know the answers. I can't find anywhere. For One Vision, do you need the EU or NA version? I believe both actually will work fine. Truth be told, I don't even know which one I have. Let's see. Judging by the title, I think I have the US version. But from what I recall, you should be able to use both. Better yet. Let me double check right here. Those just cling together. Oops. Accidentally put let you sling together. That sounds potentially kinky for someone, but I'm not into that. Yeah, use the U version. Or wait. Is that... No, hang on. Hang on. I did it wrong. Checking, double checking, and... Okay, yeah, the European version, that's the one that I'm using. Although, yeah, I've used it on the USA version just fine in the past, come to think of it. Because that's the one that I just... That's the official one that I use, but I think I use this one for convenience or something. I forget, they're pretty much identical. Let's see. I was singing along those lines too, but Godslayer stylish and people have seen a unique version of it in the room. I like some more than my Sideline Mario build. He actually quit. Oh, that was you? That makes a lot of sense that was you. Yeah, I'm just finally getting around setting it up after you recommended the mod. Yep, it's a fantastic mod, so I hope it works properly for you. If you have any issues, you know, I'm always here, so just let me know. I will attempt to troubleshoot it. Anyone that needs help, I will do so. Alright. Who are we hiring here? Number 6. So that is... Ooh, Alice! Alright. Actually, I was going to rename them based on what class they roll, but screw it. This one is actually going to stay here. So that's amusing. Alright, next up we got slot 5. We got this Philippe. I'm actually going to leave Philippe too, because I've gotten like 4 different Philippes in my other run. Okay, slot 9. So that would be this one. Yves. Interesting. Alright, let's see, what are you gonna be? You're gonna be a sorceress. You're gonna be cleavage. There we are. Although doing it this way is a little bit more awkward, because then I have to go and do them separately. Alright. You know, Mr. Horse Falcon here, or Bird Horse, or whatever the hell I named him. He's a simple guy. He's just gonna name everybody based on the first thing he sees about them. There we go, we got a sorceress. If you, by any chance, somehow aren't aware of why I call him cleavage, well, I mean, you know, you can kind of tell. You can kind of tell that's what's going on there. Alright, next we got slot 3. Hiya, folks. Mr. Arthur. You gonna be? You are gonna be a Lich. Nice. You are Skeletor. Ooh. By the way, I know I already asked, I know I'm probably annoying about asking this, but sounds okay, right? At least reasonable? Yeah, Mario was definitely possible. It definitely seemed that way. It seemed like a relatively possible build there. Alright. There you go, Mr. Skeletor. Each possessing a Ring of the Dead? Well, if you say so. How many do we have now? We have 4, so we need 1 more. Who are we hiring? Slot number 2. He's gonna be a dude. Hire a dude. This guy, his name's Andy. He seems quite generic. Are you gonna be? Angel Knight. Okay, there we go. So first time it rolled a second Lich, I should say. So for the first squad, I'm just gonna go ahead and put a little rule here that if I get doubles for the very first thing, I want to try and vary it up as much as possible. So don't really want double Liches. So we're just gonna call you Chirpy. Chirpy the Angel Knight. Good. Okay. Sounds good. Glad that's all good then. Alright, so we're starting off with an Angel Knight right off the bat. I don't need to roll these other 2. What are you folks gonna be? Every time I hear that, every time I say that, I keep thinking of that guy from Morrowind. Thinking, who will you be? Okay, you're gonna be a White Knight. That's actually not possible. Crossbowmancer. Oh, we're doing this again, are we? Necromancers, by the way, if you missed the last one, it seems like they are very iffy for this run. Oh, and you're gonna be a pirate. I'm pretty sure this won't work. Let's save state it, see if it crashes if I change Philippe here into a pirate. Yeah, it crashed. Alright, let's restart. Restart, everybody, everywhere. By the way, if anybody happens to know what in the hell is going on with that wheel that was showing up earlier, suddenly not showing up, like it's as soon as I turn it off and restart, then it's fine. But then, as soon as we do it this way, it just doesn't do it. It's an odd time. Okay, so Philippe cannot be that. Cannot be a Knight Commander either. Cannot be a Knight Commander. He can be a familiar. That'll do. Alright, so we got Philippe the Fairy. He's very French. He is the Frenchest. Alright, so his gear is mostly set up, so we just need to randomize, let's see. What was his weapon? Okay, so he had sidearms. We don't have any access to sidearms yet, I don't think. Let's see. Does the shop sell sidearms? Yes, it does. He's got a blowgun. Our leader is Our fearless leader is here with a frickin' blowgun. Yay! A weapon with so little attack it doesn't even boost his attack score. Alright, armor-wise, what do you get? Actually considering only rolling armor once I get to level 5 or something. Let's see, arm guards. There we go. And your second thing is going to be armor. Body armor. There we are. Okay, next is the Necromancer. And first thing I'm going to roll is actually their element. See if they get one. So they get earth. That's going to be worthless. And this is why I wanted to roll element first, because then I can roll the second element since they have the points for it, and they have air, which they also can't use. So, I should ask Rakes if those are being removed. Because, technically speaking, there's really no reason for them to have these two. Well, for any of them, really. As far as Necromancers go, they can't really use or learn anything from the... well, anything but Dark, I think. I think those might be removed down the line. In the future, in future runs, and/or if any more Necromancers come about, I'm just going to not count those anymore. It was fun the first time, then it got a little bit weird. Okay, weapon-wise. Spear gun. You don't get crossbows or anything, do you? No, you get sidearms, instruments, and spellbooks, cudgels, daggers. Bowgun, no. Spear gun, no. Lumberjack mode, no. And swords, no. EP shaver, no. Biblion Askike, yes, right over here, we got spellbooks. I really hope I can convince him to actually change that to the name of one of the books. Alright, and then... roll element here. Ice. Ice, ice. Power. And what does cleavage get? I think we're going to do the same thing of rolling for... no, we're going to roll one element and then stick to it. Okay, so she gets dark. And then what's your weapon going to be? Weapon, spear gun, no. Boomstick, no. Swords, no. No. Daggers, okay. Daggers it is. I got the knife and dark, very standard looking sorceress over here. Alright, what does Skeletor get? Okay, he's got some things for weapons. Mac and sticks, okay. We got cudgels, and what element does he get? He actually should have access to almost all of them, except for... ooh, okay, he starts off with Draconic, which is gonna limit him as far as offensive potential, but he should be okay for a while. Alright. Chirpy, let's roll for elements. He did get Draconic. And weapon-wise... nope, I accidentally exited out of the wheel. And again. Reminds me, the way tactics in advance presented makes it seem the combination of your attack and weapon power mattered. But to me, it seemed the weapon power made a bigger difference than it should. Typically, the way that goes is more of a... like it varies based off of... oh, I got spears. Okay. I'll gladly take spears. I always like putting spears on everything. Okay, so typically it's gonna work more like an armor system. So like, for example, with this one, if we just look at the numbers real quick, like let's say for this guy, so the attack score right here is 23. Basically that is more or less the armor penetration. So this isn't an exact number, by the way. So like, let's say, you know, this has like 16, so it would be able to penetrate that, give or take. Again, it's not exact because everything's gonna vary quite a bit in this game, but in general, that's kind of how it works. Like, if the attack gets through, then it adds this bonus damage, as well as any statistical damage. So there's that. Like, if it gets through that threshold, it does a fair bit more. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Early on, these bonuses are fairly moderate. Like, right here, it adds 5% of the attack score, is what this indicates, I believe. Whereas, for example, something like this, the blowgun, if it gets through, it adds only 2%. So it's not really what it looks like. Let's see, it says 370 attack plus 30 weapon equals 400. Now it all depends on the armor system. I honestly can't say I understood the system of that one terribly well. Most of the time I had a tendency to go and abuse the ever-loving Christ out of illusionists. So, there's that. Okay, let's see. You had a knife. You've got a shank. You've got a shield. Now let's roll for armor. We've got leg guards, so congratulations, lady. You get pants. And arm guards. So, I'm going for the Ashley Wright look. Philippe, you were using spell books, which you don't get access to yet, so you're just gonna get a shield. Now, armor-wise, you get helms, which you can't use yet. What else? You rolled 2 helms, body armor. Okay. So we got that. What's cleavage gonna do? Actually, did that other one even... No, this is the one that gets the shank. What did this one get? Oh, this one gets nothing. Okay. You get the shank. There we go. Alright, so arm guards and... body armor. Perfect. Actually, wait. You can't equip leather armor, that's the problem there. Mr. Lich, what do you get? Helms and arm guards. Okay, you're gonna be nice and squishy. What did you roll for? I think he rolled cudgels, right? And Chirpy, I know you got the spear. You also get the shield. I'm not gonna roll for a lobber because I don't really want him to use a lobber. Got arm guards and leg guards. Once again, going for that Ashley Wright look. Okay, so we need 1 pair of gloves. And if you have a book, we'd like to get one of those too. Actually, yeah, you can use... Well, we can get a book, you just can't use it yet. Circlet, we're going to need a couple of those, we're going to need a couple of these, and we're going to need, like, 4 of those, 4 of those. Solid start. Get a little bit of everything. Fine. You get your punching thing. I'm perfectly fine with you taking some hits. You get a defender. You get a defender. You get a defender as well, and you also get a defender. Yeah, I'm gonna mostly be using defenders for once. Here you go. Wait a minute. There's supposed to be leg guards and arm guards, right? There we go. Okay, let's see. We need 2 draconic. Dark, ice, and earth if it matters. Oh, and air. Lots of shopping. These runs are apparently going to start with lots and lots and lots of shopping. Get extra cash. May not even necessarily have enough all the money. May not necessarily enough have all the money. Wow. Okay, what can a familiar use of this stuff? Surprisingly, can use those. You can get air. I'm assuming he can use them because he's a matriarch. No? Actually, he can't use any abilities just yet, by the looks of it. But I think we have 1 caster that can actually cast anything. And then earth stuff, yeah, nothing that a necromancer can use. Fun, fun, fun. Alright. We learn this. Alright. Have to go do this, have fun time, probably get eaten by bombs and skeletons. Yeah, and you gotta be careful for that 1 random encounter. You don't want to run into a minotaur, you know? No fun. Don't get eaten by a minotaur. Solid advice every day. But thank you for stopping by. Learn, and I bought water instead of ice. Wonderful. Buy some ice cubes. Okay, at least we get resilient. That'll be useful for Nibbith if we end up going that route. At this point, that's probably pretty unlikely. But hey, all things are possible, right? Torque. And you get Draconic, although that basically means you two get nothing. You get nothing! Okay. Drop you right there. And move on to our first fight. I think, unless forced otherwise, I'm going to try to keep the minimum party size. So as soon as that starts going up to like 10 or so, I'll end up hiring some more folks, so this is probably going to be all I'm going to get for Chapter 1. I'm not necessarily going to go and discount anything if, for example, I go and I start a run and it turns out that it went up by 1 or something. We'll just kind of deal with that as it comes. Right go here. Almost none of these guys can even do anything. Canopus is actually almost certain to be killed here, too. I'm gonna have everyone try, but I'm not gonna be able to go blitz the leader. Simply put, unless... Well, actually, no. We can stand here and continuously feed him healing leaves. Okay, I think the only ones capable of attacking right now are Chirpy and Denim. Cleavage has abilities, but I don't know, wait. Cleavage can do stuff. Okay, never mind. We have her. For a tiny bit. Ooh. Knifeman. Going about shanking everyone. Yeah, Alice couldn't be more useless in this fight. Delete the fairy. You go and you go slap this man with shield. Go. Be all French in that direction. Skeletor has a stick. Got this all-powerful undead super mage. All he can do is run around and hit stuff with a stick. Impressive. Got a blowgun. Has a chance to weaken, though. He's gonna stand here and repeatedly blow everyone, which is a little bit... It's not exactly the most ideal wording, frankly. Alright, Chirpy can poke folks. Cleavage can do this sort of thing. Hopefully this fight is better this time rather than chasing a monk across the map. Yeah, this was, that was actually just one of the rando fights. Oh, and Canopus is already dead. Well, so much for the first possible unique character where we had a chance to get. Good start. Good start right there. And Skeletor is now dying. Fantastic. Yeah, these early levels are going to be rough. I can't even really go and heal anyone. Might as well get to slapping, I guess, because there's not a whole lot else you can do. Yeah, useful, Cashwa. Thanks. Useful. No, I'm gonna do nothing, and then you're gonna lose 2 guys, and then I think I'm just gonna go heal that one guy that's almost fully healed already. Yeah, you know, super useful. No problem whatsoever. Great plan. Pew you. Good. And there we go, he's weakened too. Chirpy goes here, and... You know, he has to go for the attack. Probably have somebody else go up and heal him. He should be relatively safe there, I would hope. Alice might take some hits for some folks. One thing I do know is that runs seem to be going atrociously today. Like, I don't know if either of you guys saw any part of the complete debacle that was this morning. That was the epitome of, oh my god, this run has just completely eaten itself alive. But basically I had a run that was going really solidly for about 2 months on X Division. And then over the course of 2 fights, almost every person that had gotten trained up to that point got completely annihilated. Plus 2 tanks that were sent with him. And you know what the funny part was? All of this came to happen because he failed 164% chance to hit. Somehow. I don't know if it bugged out or what happened or if I misread it. But as far as I can tell, it was 164% chance to succeed. He failed it. This was like the best guy in the group, whose accuracy was just like impeccable at all times. So he fails this thing. Ends up pretty much wiping out 3 of the 8 members of the team. One had passed out prior. And yeah, so he just like vaporizes his friend. He barely survives. Limps off into another room to find out that there's like 3 other things in there. And the rest of the party tries to help, but then end up running into their own unfortunate problems. And yeah, ultimately one of the 16 folks that went in actually makes it out. So, not so good. Definitely not so good. Since I don't want this run to end right away, I'm gonna go ahead and deal with Mr. Birdhorse here. I'm gonna think about looking at that necklace. It even kind of looks like a bola. Maybe he is the Indian chief the whole time. Yep. I never understood why it was called Ogre. Is that just like a mistranslation or something? Or what happened there? Actually, that's one thing that they really could have done a lot better with FFT. And one thing that surprisingly was still never addressed with mods. Like, any of the mods I've seen didn't really seem to change the fact that the friggin' summons ended up taking forever. Like, you might as well just go make your sandwich while they're going and doing that attack, you know? Actually, there's that one fight where you have like 2 summoners and 4 ninjas and you're there trying to save Rafa. And yeah, they just keep going and they keep using it over and over and over and over and over and over. Like, please. Please. I already know that there's like 10% chance of this fight going right without Rafa going and, you know, friggin' impaling herself on a spike because she feels like she absolutely needs to lose every fight ever. We maybe, just maybe, not take 50 billion years for this friggin' attack to happen. And no. The answer was no. Okay, now this is somehow even more useless right now. Okay, you know what, we can at least get Skeletor out of here. Evac! Need evac! You can probably slap this guy backwards. Perfect. Funny how Chirpy kind of looks like a flying Roman. Oh. Summons made the first half of the game easy mode. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that made that game easy mode, though. It's one of the things that made it so fun. It's like, early on, if you got an early caster, like, just anywhere in Chapter 1, you could just completely blaze through it, no problem. Like, all it ever took was 1, because they basically counted it as, you know, this guy gets 2 moves, basically, up until you get access to robes. So if you get one up to this point, they will only have 2 moves, except during those 2 moves, they will just completely erase 2 units from the map. So yeah, and then you end up picking up a crystal, and then suddenly it's just like, okay, there's no actual game left anymore for Chapter 1. We can just continue on. Pretty great. Pretty great. Alright, this guy is not really going down anyway, so you might as well practice your knife skill. Oh wow, you... Ooh, why do you suck so bad with that? Okay, so Dex... Weird, okay. I'm guessing she's exactly a mage build then. I didn't actually check what kind of archetypes they got, but hers is definitely a mage then if she can't even remotely hurt anything with that knife. That's promising. You know, they would have been just fine in like 2 seconds. They were already in the process of keeling over and you just felt like punching them on the way down. Rude. Freaking stabbing cleavage. No, it's... Let's see, huge AoE spells that only hit one shot multiple at once. Yep. Actually, I found it funny. We were doing that community run lately, and partway through, so I end up getting the first like proper fight of Chapter 2. And so there was this part where, you know, it's the one where you basically just go with Gafgarian and Agrius and then just wreck everything with no problem whatsoever. Actually, it got to the point that I was running around stabbing them in the back the entire time, and it still wasn't enough to even remotely slow their progress. I was just trying to max out like JP gains and everything for everyone. And so, what ended up happening, 3 other units just lined up right at the very start of the fight, and it was just already over. There was nothing that could be done for them to possibly win the fight past that point. Because it was already 3 guys already almost completely down, and nothing. There's just no more steps to take. Kind of a wonder that the AI wasn't better. Actually, it's always funny, because you kind of imagine it, thinking back in the day of like, oh, you know, the AI was pretty alright, I remember it being a pretty smart thing, and then you go back to it after some experience and other things, and it's like, wow, this AI is super basic. It will always just... honestly, it's the same thing as this. It's actually a little bit surprising that, like, all things considered, comparing the 2 AIs here, the AI this one I would honestly say is slightly more complex. Because it occasionally will try to do different stuff, and on that one it's just, if they've got damage potential, they'll always go for it. So it made it very predictable. Although, I guess that's part of its satisfaction factor. But yeah. So point being, very early in the thing, both, like, Dark and Time Ages were ridiculously strong. Then, kind of towards the beginning/middle, then Summoners were crazy strong, and then towards the end it's just Calculators were unstoppable. They calculate way too hard. Who got the book? Who got the staff? You got nothing, you got the book, right? You get book, you get hat, you get hat. Right? No. You get nothing, sir, because you have failed way too hard. Alright, does anybody have points for anything? Kinda, sorta, a little bit. And I can't even get extra slots. Okay, it's time for a grind fight. We can't even potentially take on the second fight. Didn't even get Canopus. Actually, you know what? We have to get a 7th guy now that Canopus didn't make it. Alright, who do we get? An Astromancer? Well, that's just plain not gonna work. First off, it's slot number 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One right here. Musician, also not possible. Patriarch, Matriarch, okay. Well, actually, no, that's a double class, so I can't use it. Dragon. Okay, sweet. What kind of dragon are you gonna be? Light. Oh, dang. Gonna be Laser Maw. There we go, Laser Maw the dragon. Kinda sounds all ye old medieval fantasy-ish, right? Now you can be a light dragon. I want to say that's the Tiamat, right? Or the Bahamut? I think that's the Bahamut. Yeah, in the Ways of the Light. There we go. And so they basically have like free reign on abilities here, but I'm not going to be able to afford any of them for a while. Still though, that's a pretty huge benefit. So I'll definitely take that. Usually can have some before we rescue the Marquis. Cast Shadow on all the units bundled together behind the wall. Yep. Oh man. Friggin', what was it? Rats of the Desert or something they call that one? Man. That one's given me trouble on so many runs, and it's kind of bizarre as to why. It's always the same thing of just like, oh, we introduced monks. Do we balance them? Nah, they can like insta-kill punch anyone. Like, seriously, I love their mentality, like when they were introducing different units, like, okay, you got squires on your very first fight. It can kind of sort of do a little bit of stuff, you know? It's good and nifty. Oh, crap. Got to give this guy, girl, dragon, a weapon. Alice, you just run back here, there's nothing for you to do. Hopefully we won't die on the first random fight. Skeletor, you go back because I can't use you either. Denim would do some useful stuff, though. If he gets a weakened procs on everyone, honestly, his attack isn't that bad. Battler means a rat nest. Yep. He's oddly surprised by rats, considering they were frickin' everywhere at the time. Fairies definitely move faster. Here's the deal. Dragon holds off the left side. Cleavage probably will go and barrage all of them. Denim and Chirpy will have to take the right then. Okay, never mind. Our new dragon sucks. Yeah, okay. Alice, you're just gonna go sacrifice yourself because you can't do anything useful, it seems. Dragon gives hurt. I'm gonna go backwards. Yeah, so we basically have a dragon with no defense. Awesome. Actually, everyone's gonna have to get involved now because there's a good chance we're taking injuries. Nobody's moving fast enough to be able to keep up with all this. Magical crap. Okay. This one's very weak to it. They're the first target. Thing is, despite the fact that they're getting turned into these other classes, they still basically start off as, well, basic units. So they won't necessarily be able to serve their exact roles very well. We'll see how this goes. No. Venom should be able to finish him off. Unless the healer comes in, which he probably will right now, just out of range. Come on, block, you dick. As they get procs on absolutely everyone. Alright, everyone's just gonna kind of do their best. Whereas anybody that can move with any relative speed are gonna go and attack the healer. Gonna be an item healer, I think. Would you rather us remind you of things like forgetting to buy weapons? Yeah, that probably would be a good idea. I keep forgetting this crap. Alright, Skeletor still can't be useful, but they can get the dragon out of here. Since there's no way we're beating this within 3 rounds. You need to go shank this frickin' Wizardlington. Thankfully, these lizards should be slow enough that the casters can maybe hold them off for a while. Yeah. Fairy and what's-his-face? The Chirpy can go deal with this guy. One more stab from Chirpy should finish him off. Real menus rolled up newspapers. Oh man, accidentally said rolled up sandpapers, and that sounds bizarrely harsh. There we go. Go after him. At the next turn. So you go over here, there's a chance he'll be able to block. He's gonna go there. Healer probably won't have time to catch up with him because the healer has to go deal with other problems now. Got that, got that. Got 2. 39. That 2. 15, but it also does 34 to this guy. Really? You smacked a blow dart out of the air with your stick. Okay. That makes sense, old man. That's reasonable. Go away. Not that... Again, same old thing of there's really nothing better for him to do. Now you will go over here and just continuously munch down on leaves and hopefully distract these two. Because he's a big old tempting blob of damage soak. Good. That is exactly what needed to happen. God, please. Main man Edgar is gone. Good. Those treat injuries with sandpaper and rubbing alcohol? Jesus Christ. That's horrible. Oh, man. You wouldn't happen to be living in Guantanamo Bay, would you? Oh, man. That's brutal. Okay. So. think he needs to be the next target. That. Nothing else, Alice is at least avoiding hits well enough. 34 here. Main reason I'm slapping them around with shields, by the way, is just to kind of delay their movement. It forces them to take one extra step, and them taking that extra step is basically less costly than me going and slapping them with a shield. It's just slightly faster. This one. Time to run up here. Actually, no, you're gonna run over here. You're gonna also heal yourself. We cannot keep the strategy up for very long, by the way, if that wasn't obvious enough. They're gonna go get some free hits off, because of course they will. Munch down one more leaf. That's all you can really do for now. Mostly the idea is just to go and wail on one of these guys while while Denim goes and attacks the healer. Eventually the healer will be forced to heal himself, but hopefully it won't be enough by that point. His point being it has to be spread around to try and overwhelm him and, well, get damage through despite the fact that he can only heal up one of them. That's kind of the idea. And that's the worst possible way I could ever explain it, but, you know, it's there. That's the explanation. Okay, you go here to avoid his frickin' wrath. I have a basin of time or something. Oh, you may be wondering what the deal is with these two 99s over here. This basically just means that down the line we can just pick up Deneb. I think this was meant to just be for getting her wiki thing, and then Heaven's Forks, or just if we run into any Heaven General locations, they can just use them. We don't have to go back for kind of pointless stuff down the line. Skeletor, you're gonna go here. Hopefully pull one more of them away from the fight. Okay. 4 injury. Okay, really now. We're doing this. We're doing this yet again. So yeah, if you missed it last time, it was the same thing where they kept hitting sub 50% over and over and over and over and over. And then I kept getting blocked on 70+ things. So apparently we're doing that again. You won that guy. So healer went to heal himself. Fine. One lizard has separated. Allows for him to be taken out. This should be a combination of the last two casters that will be able to finish him off. Yeah. I'm still gonna need the fairy's help to finish that one off. Lock. Well, that was pointless. Alright. Face. Go this way. It's fine, he can still be finished off by the casters. The next step is gonna be this guy. He's also gonna get healed. And he's also gonna get ice branded. So there we go, we do that. On hit please, thank you. Go away. Crap. Well, there goes the majority of our damage, because he didn't take the bait. Right. That's a little bit irritating. You do. Can you have any buffs you can give people? Do you have anything? Strike, strengthen. Strengthen may help. Sidestep won't. Malediction will help, though. Chirpy's gonna go for this guy. Bring him down a little bit. So yeah, what I was saying earlier about this not always going very well, that's definitely exactly what's going on right now. Piss off with your frickin' super heal. Alright, so possible. Not a very likelihood of possible, but it's still technically possible. It just relies on a lot of luck here, so... Thing is, he can only heal a little bit. As long as these guys stay out of range and don't get hit, well, I can still out-DPS this guy's healing. Or, you know, they'll end up critting, that's fine too. And hitting despite incredible odds. Oh boy. I think I'm about to say that if everybody gets knocked out, to just have a rule in there that if Denim survives and everybody else does, then those guys have to be released and we start off with a new party. Like on the spot. Healer went for himself instead, which allows for this one to be finished off. Yeah, of course it's gonna hit a 21. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, the one that's magically survived everything is still gonna survive again. Unfortunately, I can't go and deal with him, because then this one's gonna be a guaranteed hit. Move over here, potentially won't have a guaranteed hit down the line. Okay. One of these will succeed, dang it. Yes, yes, get out of here, Skeletor. Yeah, there we go. That's the end of that. Yeah, I think let's implement that rule. That if the entire party just dies in a random fight or something, Denim runs away. And everybody that participated in the fight is just gone now. Yes, yes. Okay. So, Skeletor didn't make it. Actually, yeah, you know what? Let's do it this way. If Denim falls, then he runs away, everybody still standing makes it. But anybody who was on the ground and or got kicked out has to be kicked out. So, basically, Philippe is the only one that made it, unfortunately. So, time to get a new party. That's a bummer. Alright. But yeah, this way we'll end up seeing more units and that kind of thing. So let's go ahead and sell some stuff. We sell some of these things. Actually, let's just go ahead and... no. That doesn't even do anything. Let's sell these, let's sell these, since nobody seems to be lasting anyway. Who can we hire? Looks like we're hiring a fencer. Interesting. Okay, just a basic class. And what unit would that be? Number 9. You're gonna be Generica. Generica. Hell yeah. Okay. What else can we sell? Lots of bucklers. We can get rid of those. Our whack of armor, we can get rid of those. Okay. Gonna be slot number 10. Gonna be this one. What are you gonna be? A monster hunter. Okay. What the hell are those cat things called for Monster Hunter? Exactly. Brave Sir Robin. By the way, I should mention that whole retreating rule, that only applies to random fights. Like, that happens in a story fight, that is the end of the run. I just figured for random situations like that, where it's 3 lizards that I can't exactly hurt just yet, technically would have been possible, got some bad RNG, it'll happen. Palico, there we go. I'm gonna call you one of them. Palico. They're gonna be a monster hunter, and then we get one more. I already got one of those. So first off, slot 3, so we're gonna get a dude this time. Scout Arson, so you're gonna be a ninja. Alright. You're gonna be just a scout. Or no, you're gonna be just scout face. Your scout face. See if this party ends up surviving any better. And then one more probably for now. Where are you gonna be? Okay, number 3. So once again, the same slot. You are gonna be a Lich. Okay. You're gonna be Skeletor too. Skeletor. Skeletor. There we go. Actually, you know what? You know who? You're gonna be Rick. You're gonna be a Rick the Skeleton. There we go. Rick the, completely unlikable skeleton guy. And we have a bunch of pants. We can sell those for another guy. Hire our last unit here, and who are you gonna be? Number 7. So it's gonna be this one right... or wait. 10, 9, 8, 7. So this one right here. Wait, that's the wrong wheel, and you are a Juggernaut. I'm gonna call you Beast. Come on, please don't suck. Worst case scenario, I might end up changing it, that all of them just come in with, like up to a certain level or something. Alright, so Bird Horse, his tribe isn't going terribly well. Give it some time, but overall, stuff hasn't started for luck. Don't forget about Pep Poogie. What? Okay, Monster Hunter, I don't remember what Poogies are, I'll be totally honest. There you go, you're gonna be a Dragoner. That would have been very useful if we kept that dragon from before. Scout Arson, so you are gonna be a ninja. Scout Face. It makes it so much easier to remember who they are. You're Rick the Lich. Don't worry about the Ring of the Dead. Don't worry that we pulled it off a corpse, it's fine. And Beast, are you? Juggernaut, right. Or a Menead in this case. What to think of it? You know what? It'd be cool to see Myrmidons in this one. Which is funny because they got a kind of a misunderstood thing. So a while ago they started showing up in Fire Emblem, and for some reason people started assuming they were like a Japanese thing. So Myrmidons are always the ones that end up going and turning into Sword Masters, which are clearly, you know, supposed to be like a Ronin or something like that. And yeah, no, Myrmidons were a Greek thing. Like, hang on, was it? Which ones were the Greeks? Which ones were the... Yeah, it was the Greeks attacking the Trojans. So the Myrmidons were the guys that, that back up Achilles. So they're like his kind of guard, as it were. As if the guy needed one when they basically said, hey, this guy's basically invincible. What does he need a guard for again? Well, he might get shot in the ankle one time. Yeah, random weapon. Blow darts. Doesn't have them. Shanks. Do you get daggers? No, you don't. Fists? No. Poke sticks? Yes. You do get spears. Roll element. Man, I really wish that they would actually show this wheel, because it feels so weird to be able to talk about it and not be able to show it. Alright, fire. Good. A pretty cute little pig you can dress as a watermelon. What? How have I always missed this? And again, I haven't played a whole lot of Monster Hunter, but I've gotten several hours into several of them. Okay, the Dragoner here, you get access to a whole bunch of weapons, so what do you get? Books, I know for a fact you don't get those. Instruments, pretty sure you don't get those. Harassment bows, okay, so you get small bows. That's good, we finally get a ranged unit. Nothing else to do with you, really. Alright. You get Arts of War. Since, basically since they only get access to one thing there, I'm not gonna go and, like, re-roll until I get Art of War or something. That would be kind of pointless. Yeah, what weapon can you use, though? Instruments, no. Harassment, yeah, you actually can use short bows. Good. Got 2 ranged units, one of them is a potentially decent caster. Rick the Lich. All elements. We got earth, and we got fire. Perfect. Those 2, I don't know if we can afford to train you, which is perfectly fine, all things considered. And the Manead over here. Retraining Beast. Throwing Hand? Well, that sucks. Okay, so we got Lobber. And pistols? No. Pistols again? No. Crossbows? No. Oh, 2-hander swords. Okay, I'm gonna count that as overwriting the other one. So then we at least have one weapon that doesn't suck. Okay. So. First off, we have a broadsword. I doubt it. We need a broadsword. We need stuff for you. I think we have bows, right? We've got a couple of them. So actually, this works out. Yeah, this is great. We at least have some options against squishy stuff. So squishy casters and all that. Got a 2-hander against heavies, so we should probably go buy one of them. Wicked Man Strave if you're... Yeah, sure, let me go just send them 50 cents. Actually, funny note, recently they put this new feature on the washing machines around here, which I know seems like a weird thing to bring up, but it's so much more convenient than I ever would have figured. Like, it's literally just an app thing, and then you just launch it, and you don't need quarters anymore. It was such a pain to go to the frickin' store to go get quarters. And now it's just like a little thingy, and you slide it. Like, hey, guess what? Just paint the chain for you. It's like magic. And that's how you do it. Great. Okay, so we got you. You get nothing. At all, apparently. Short bow, short bow. You got spears, didn't you? Yes, you did. We have some fire laying around for you. There you go. We got the boule de feu. This party might actually survive a second. We got earth and fire. Pick up some of them. Yeah, install this, because I can't even use it, unfortunately. Buy some of these. I'd assume he can use all of it. No, he can't use all of it. Earth. Thankfully, it's all consistent now, so like, if, for example, like right here, you can tell the Lich can't use debuffs, whereas before it was like, or he can't use buffs of certain levels, whereas before he had just had this bizarre mishmash of everything, so every single individual skill, whenever you were training it, you had to go and take a look, I'm like, oh, can I use it yet? Can I use it yet? Can I use this? Can I use that? And it was annoying. Let's just put it there. Not as annoying as me, frankly, but, you know. I've just been known as quite the annoying bastard. Can't afford to hire anyone else. Can we get some Arts of War? Any ninja moves? Yes, we got Shadowbind. That's perfect, actually. actually very interesting. Yeah, it's cool that he actually put in a bunch of moves here that potentially could be very useful. Like, really, really, really early on, too. So consumables... That's the thing, I don't think I have the items to use Shadowbind. So yeah, the ability is there, the items are not. Which I guess leaves one last step, which is just to roll armor on these guys. Alright, you get body and arms. I'm about to go ahead and say screw it on the even rolling this part. Just because it takes a minute. The arm guards and leg guards. But I kind of like the fact that they're coming in with completely random equipment. Gut face gets legs and body. That. Okay, legs and helms for Rick. That. Nothing there. Man, this is kind of a downer for him, isn't it? You get one of these, you get one of these, you get one of these. What do you get this stuff-wise? Arms and legs. Oh, man. Never double-click this thing. It just expanded that tiny PSP screen to my entire frickin' screen. Just burned my eyeballs out. Great. Don't do that. It hurts. It hurts in the retinas. Okay. So, yeah, we're, ready for round 2 on the most basic fight in the game. This is gonna look really weird for anybody that's, that hasn't played this before. That doesn't understand that the mod's actually really well balanced. I'm just playing it in the dumbest possible manner. Because I'm basically putting myself at a permanent level disadvantage while putting myself in a really confusing logistical situation, while also having no actual plan as far as the party goes, because obviously I can't really have one. So yeah, you know, there's that. In a nutshell. Alright. We didn't... No, we still spawned in with 3 lizards, but... It didn't spawn in with a healer this time. The odds are better. Also, I actually have ranged units, so let's go ahead and do one of these. And it's raining, so they're gonna suck. Fantastic. Just what I always wanted. For them to be able to block everything. Right. Beast is gonna try to hang out around here. Denim, the bird horse chief, is gonna try to get a few little plinks off with this if he can. Oh, crap, dude. 50? With a blowgun? Wow. Okay, never mind. He's earning his chief status. Barry will be okay. Dalifar over here. Such a cool name. It's a shame we gotta get rid of you. In fact... gotta keep that recruitability in mind. See, this is one of those situations where I'm actually going to end up keeping recruit on somebody or other. Because eventually we'll get to the point where fights are going to get really bizarre. Also, that guy got really douched RNG-wise. But we'll get to the point where fights will get so bizarre that I'm going to have to like weaken and recruit stuff on the other side in order to actually have a chance. At which point they will have to be incorporated into the party, at which point we'll continue seeing even more bizarreness happen. It's just this early setup. A little bit of a sticker. Mossy over here can be the next one. And we actually should probably try collecting some of this equipment. You're gonna do nothing, you're gonna do something. I should have given her a better ring. Thankfully that one over there has garbage defense. These guys don't even have shields, and they really should. Downside is, I'm definitely going to want to train this fairy at some point to have something other than just ice. If I can get Divine on them, at least we'd have a healer. And that one's got to go. Rick's going to take a step forward, hopefully take some hits. I'm going to recall at this point. I have completely forgotten some of the stuff that I should have brought along. Alright, there we go. Gonna do a pretty good job there. I've completely... How did I completely forget that he already had casting abilities? Why the hell did I think that he was supposed to wait one more level before he got those? One of many mysteries. And it won't be really answered. Alright, see you, Mr. Cow. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the stories. We'll see you soonish. And good luck with the desert adventures. Hopefully everything pans out well there. As I said before, don't get eaten by minotaurs. And other such things that definitely exist in the desert. Headshot, we got a 38 over here. Plus we got a 20 on her though. Okay, yeah, I definitely want her gone. Oh wait, you know what? So I usually can only tell this from the music. I apologize that it's lagging so bad in the rain here. Go ahead and turn off block transfer effects. And now we're fine. Alright. Hit Peter over here. Just bastard. Odds, okay odds. Yeah, okay. This could be going a little bit better. That's fine. Rick is the champion we need here. Okay, never mind, he's gonna miss completely, as he does. And, okay, he almost took a shot to the face. That would have also been unfortunate. However, Beast is the champion we need. On account of being frickin' awesome. Alright, one more hit from Beast should finish them off. Base, let's go ahead and heck you one more time here. There we go, pew pew. In fact, let's see about you finishing her off, please. Yes, okay. Good. Progress was made. Pew. Get you out of there. I really needed him to actually hit that. Still doable. Liches are just kind of on the slow side, so I'm gonna run into those kinds of problems. There we go. Actually rolled high that time. In fact, it's a little bit annoying that last time probably would have gone very, very, very differently if that one number there had actually rolled what it said instead of rolling 2 under. That kind of killed it. Yeah. Not only did he hit the 25%, he actually wound up hitting a crit on top of it, as you do. Actually might be able to even get XP for Generica over here. Alright, perfect. He's going well. Very, very much unlike last time. Plus, these guys are weak as crap, as you can probably tell. Oh, there's, as I say a billion freaking times a second, there's that. Yeah, we're gonna get Generica her stuff here, for sure. Ooh. There we go. And that's how actual levels happen, children. Get some stuff. Yes, we got everyone to 3, finally. It's progress. It's still not great, but 3 is basically the point that you kind of need to progress in this. Now, what else can we do here? No real weapons. Let's see, I have a pretty consistent people who can actually contribute this time around. Yeah, exactly. I can do things. We can do stuff other than sit there and die. You know what? I'm gonna think of it. This guy can use a secondary weapon. I'm gonna roll for what that would be. Because he actually can learn it now, right? Yeah, he can learn a secondary skill, which I want to be a secondary weapon. We got tenderizers? No. Throwing arsenal. Can use sidearms? Yes. That's actually the worst possible thing he could have rolled, but, yeah. Skill-wise, he does get to use that now, because I'm only taking off Art of War here, because he doesn't actually have any ability to use that at this point. But he is going to use it as soon as the next slot comes up. Alright. I'm going to get him another blowgun, I guess. Huh. Yeah, that's just basically dead weight, isn't it? Oh, it's okay. I did a dumb. Rolled a second thing, and now he has to use it. Sell 2 short bows, buy a blowgun, which has gone up in price by 200 bucks for some reason. This. It's not necessarily a bad thing. He basically has one option that can weaken stuff, he has one option that can't. Now, I can't buy upgraded armor yet, right? It should be only after we come back. Yeah, no. It's only after Chrysero that we're able to do that. Oh, we got another fight anyway. Fantastic. Exactly what I want. Okay, let's add new slots to people. Anything? No. He has the ability to eat a pumpkin. How incredibly useful. Yeah, there's not really much to upgrade there. Needed helmets, so he got helmets. He needed a shield, he has those. Weapon-wise, he doesn't really get anything. As of yet, anyway. Wait. Did I roll a weapon for him yet? Well, he can't use one until then. That's just going to be the rule. And also learn another weapon too, seeing as she rolled 1H bows. Very true. That being said, I kind of prefer to have her just shield and weapon. So, the reason that I had him roll another one is because ninjas actually can't use shields anymore. They're meant to be a scout unit, and they're meant to be a trick unit. So, if you end up, good. Another one with no healer. Fantastic. In that case, Beast is going to go after their archer. Or will he? No. Beast is going to go over here and crush these things. He or she, I think it was actually a beast. But they're human. They're the human lizard. Maybe they should run for politics. There we go. But yeah, so since ninjas don't get shields, that's why he ended up rolling for 2 of them. I was kind of hoping he would roll dagger or something like that. Either dagger or katana or something like that, so that he'd be able to do a little bit more, but you know, he got a blowgun. So I like to think he's maybe just attaching the blowgun to his bow and just kind of has this weird, like, blow bow kind of situation. The blow bow. No one questions the blow bow. You know, like whenever he's going and not using it normally, he just kind of uses it as a scope or something. Something like that. I apologize for talking like I'm friggin' dyslexic today. Alright, Generica. So I think the reason that I didn't have Generica or Denim make moves, so the 2 of them are casters, they should be able to beat that archer pretty well. Which is a little bit backwards, because one thing I used to play all the time was RuneScape. And it was the exact opposite way around, that archers always beat casters, casters always beat melee, melee tended to beat archers. Although usually everybody was a hybrid in between. Actually, come to think of it, there was one thing that I was considering trying today, if anybody was remotely interested, because apparently, at some point, they put in a Iron Man mode to that game. So yeah, if there was any interest whatsoever, I was actually considering trying that, just based off what I remember from way back in the day. Because it's funny, they released a classic mode, and then they released multiple different Iron Man modes. Like, dang it, I used to really like that game, actually, and it's funny because it's... like, it was for none of the actual MMO-isms. Like, honestly, if it came out as a single-player game, I still would have liked it, which is even funnier because that's basically exactly what it is. So, like, Ultimate Iron Man and that thing is basically just playing it single-player, And, yeah, you can't get any help from other people, you can't get, you can't buy anything from anything other than an NPC store, you can't trade with people, you can't do any of that, and in some cases, depending on what rule set you go with, you can't even use a friggin' bank, so you're basically just hauling your entire everything from this game on you the entire time. So, I may try that. Can ninjas use mangoshas? Yes. Actually, no, wait. No, they can't. They cannot use parrying daggers. The requisite is to be able to use daggers and... Oh, you dick! You dick! You took out Beast, how dare you? Man, that guy's friggin' fast, too. Get bent, Lloyd. Meanwhile, these two are over here trying to deal with this frickin' archer. Refuses to die. But yeah, so ninjas can't use mangoshas. You have to be able to use daggers and small shields to be able to use that. So yeah, the mangosh won't even be a consideration for a good long time, though. That's like pretty much an end-game thing. Okay, we are getting bent right the hell over here. 1... 24, okay, I need Lloyd gone. He's rocking way too hard. That's what... It's weird, so a lot of the guys that end up spawning in this particular map, early on, like, the fencers that spawn here are crazy strong. It's an odd one. Like, before it used to be a whole thing where they were just resistant to a whole lot of stuff, so that made them really challenging. In an earlier version of the mod, so it's not as extreme as that used to be. But it's still kind of up there right now, which is mostly just in my party selection here. My main option for dealing with him is a little bit dead right there. Yeah. There's that. Okay, I think I only ever played RuneScape 13, 14 years ago, so I didn't even know where to start. So that's the funny thing. If you've ever played, say, Ultima or something like that, it's honestly very similar to that. Like, the entire thing is just your character... Well, actually, it's like a really undignified version of Ultima. So instead of your character being anything special, they're pretty much an utter moron. Like, it's mentioned over and over and over again that your character, no matter how high their levels go, is a complete dunce. Like, they're unforgivably stupid in a lot of cases. I mean, one of the quest lines basically involves your guy getting blackout drunk and completely forgetting what they were doing there in the first place. So, well, I guess... Okay, so they kind of show competence for a second there. Like, they find this whole conspiracy, and then they just, like, get drunk, and then they wake up and like, weird, my journal's empty. So it's one of those kinds of situations. But yeah, no, your character doesn't really do anything special, which is why the quote-unquote classic version always appealed to me, because it's just... Your guy sucks, you know? They're not doing anything super special, they're not, you know, friggin' legendary whatever. I mean, actually, they do have exactly one moment where that's exactly the case, where you're reading this prophecy and they're like, you will give this really stupid nickname to this guy, and they will do something, and then that something just turns out to be your character's inability to die. So they're like, yeah, no, they're pretty much gonna go and help out somebody else, get covered in a landslide, die, and then just come back. Because of the fact that we have to have MMO mechanics in here, that's the one special moment your character gets. But yeah, other than that, it's just like, anybody could have done it kind of a thing. And it's actually got some pretty good humor in there. But that was the thing. Then, like, around 2006, 2007-ish, they got to the point where they decided to scrap the whole thing and try to become WoW, which completely didn't work, because none of it made sense for that. Like, it was just a comedy point-and-click adventure game, pretty much. And, you know, it had occasional dire bits and all of that sort of thing, which is what made it work. Like, the sheer, like, dullness and relative brevity of the whole thing, like, it was either boring, funny, or serious. You know, you were either doing your day-to-day stuff, you know, getting friggin' pounded in the face by something, or... you know, something funny was going on. I mean, there's one that I probably should have mentioned while Mr. Cow was here, because he would have appreciated it. That's just an entire questline based around movie puns. Like Hunt for Red Rocktober, and it's just like a bunch of penguins in the friggin' Arctic that that went and built a submarine, and they're basically like the Soviet Union made of penguins. It's funnier than it sounds, but yeah, so you're like there in like a mechanized penguin suit, just kind of going around like spying on folks and everything. Pretty cool. So yeah, it's what am I trying to say here? Like, you go to WoW or you go to some other thing, like, oh, we need somebody to go fight the super big thing. Like, and that one's just like, no, we need somebody to go do our frickin' laundry because we're too lazy to do it. So it's that kind of thing, you know? But yeah. It's honestly more amusing than many people give it credit for. But when they try to redo it, that's kind of when stuff really hit the fan. They just kind of announced one day, like, if you remember FF11, I think that was 11 that did this, where the game was doing so poorly that they decided to literally end it, like, as in they put a in-game apocalypse and all that sort of thing. And for some reason, they apparently decided that that was exactly the thing that they wanted to copy. So, yeah. Like, let's see, it was like 2010-ish that they started trying to copy WoW with graphics. Then they tried to put a new combat system in, which, like, none of the old players liked because it didn't work whatsoever. Previously, it was this thing where, like I was mentioning earlier, it was just this triangle, pretty much, where you had melee characters that would out-DPS ranged ones, or they would just beat ranged ones. Because it was this system where just two units would go next to each other, and your defense wasn't really a, like, damage reducer as much as it was just a lower odds of whatever it was hitting. So at any point, anything could do maximum, but at that same time, the actual odds were way lower. Okay, these 70% misses are getting annoying. At that same time, those same ones would... What was I getting at? Okay, so those same ones would have very low odds. So for example, say somebody that was like dedicated melee or whatever, that was fighting somebody that was dedicated ranged. The ranged one is very high accuracy, but very low maximum damage. So they would be able to occasionally get past that armor, but all the times that they couldn't, because that one had very high resistance to it, they would just basically be screwed in the long run because they had no defense against it. Because every time that you tried to multi-class into other things, you just basically lost out on that particular thing. Like, if you're wearing plate, you're gonna have a hard time pulling back a bow. If you're wearing leather, you're gonna have a hard time casting. If you're casting, you're gonna have almost no defense against anything else. So, there's that kind of thing. The point being, you know, these different classes generally worked pretty well together. Let me just grab some coffee. Anyone else here? Robot penguins? Yeah, that's a good ways out, though. Like, I'd probably start off with the free portion of it, because they do have a paid portion, but the free portion is actually pretty hefty. With that one, let's see. Got a kidnapping bit in there. It's got some... Well, it's got a haunted mansion with chickens. I think the haunted mansion's my favorite part of the free version. Like, it all ends up culminating in this random thing to go fight a dragon on an island. I think that's the only, like, obligatory actual boss thing of all of the free stuff, of which there's, like, 40 different things, I think? Something like that? I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna take some injuries here for sure. That archer's almost gone. If Bird Horse wasn't so friggin' sturdy, we'd be in a lot more trouble right now. Please finish her off. Okay, was really expecting another 70% miss there. Definitely getting XCOM RNG lately, where 70% is basically 0. Alright, Generica's out of here. That's a bummer. Fine though, because Rick can do this. Thankfully, we ended up rolling both ice and fire, so both Rick and the fairy end up doing a pretty good job supporting each other. There we go. The ninja might get stuff after all. don't douche me here, game. Alright. But yeah, so it was just a fun little game. By little, I mean friggin' huge. There was actually a bunch of parts of it that were mind-numbingly frustrating. And I guess technically didn't lend itself very well when it came to an MMO. That's why I was saying, like, if there was an offline version, I would have friggin' bought it in a heartbeat. Because a lot of it just worked a lot better as offline. Come to think of it, you know what? Did that ever come out? I think they were promising a version like that. What do you say, Google? Offline... Whoa, what? Oh, whoops. Okay, that's not what I thought it was. RuneScape Classic is shutting down after 17 years. Yeah, that's not the one I thought it was. I was looking for Classic. I meant to put Old School on there. There we go. Is that possible to play offline by any chance? Okay, actually somebody did ask about this. Offline mode. Yeah, actually... Oh, apparently they mentioned that if they ever do shut the game down, they're gonna go do that. Make your own private server? Yeah, but I'm not gonna pay for that. Like a curiosity run at best. I dabbled around a little bit with the Iron Man mode of it, but I've never gone full bore into it. So that should be a bit of a weird one to try out. You know what? I'm tempted to save up for one of those, actually, because she's doing pretty alright just in her role. Generica, unfortunately, took an injury. You know what? We should have you learn Bash. It seems like an odd choice, but that way she can serve as a keep-away role. Alright, you get your new slot. You get Arts of War, even though we can't really use it yet. And I guess it's about time we rolled your weapon, huh? Alright, let's roll a weapon. Thrown, no. Second sticks. Cudgels it is. Suppose that works out pretty well for you, huh, being a caster and all? Oh yeah. So like I was saying, RS just always kind of appealed to me for its humor, mostly. Like hell, they have an entire, like, Knight's Order in that one, whose names are all based off puns. Like the guy that you go to sign up for them in the first place. Certification. Like, it was like Sir Tiffy Kashin, I think is how they spelled it, but, you know, it's certification. That's exactly what that is. But yeah, for private servers, that's the thing though, like, my problem is not so much in other people being around. Actually, that would be very helpful in that kind of run. But my issue in that case would actually be more just Comcast being randomly douchey. Because that does happen a fair bit. Like, there'll just be times where they'll just go and shut down for no friggin' reason. Very annoying. Alright, so this is the fight to get better armor, basically. These should be all 2s, except for the leader should be a 3, right? And you're a 3. There's an Evelyn. Just like the Dark Souls, except it's spelled differently. Okay. Go here. Let's have Scout Face go over here. I mean, I guess technically I'm only required to keep his sidearm skill up. I don't necessarily have to always have him dual-wielding those things. Although I don't really have a shield to put in that slot, so... Actually, never mind, yes I do. Alright, I don't have any non-missile abilities. That's a problem. Oh, wait a second, what? Just download a private server. Oh, wait, what? Hosting your own private server locally can let you play offline. Okay. I would be tempted. But no, then apparently wouldn't... apparently there's rules against that. But no, I always wanted an offline mode of that thing. Specifically, I always kind of wanted a portable version, to be totally frank, but let's see. It's actually super easy to compile and run your own private server for most things and free. Didn't know about that. I'd be tempted to try that. Because yeah, as you may have noticed with some of these before, there's very often instances where Comcast just suddenly decides, hey, you know, dead now. And it just disconnects for like 3 hours at a time. It's a pain in the neck. Alright. Archers are gonna suck here. And I'm gonna go ahead and aim at the wrong tile, as you do. Hey, Mr. Beast. Rush, or don't. Fine. Man. We're at a pretty severe disadvantage here, actually. Because I have very few directly offensive options. Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, never mind. Casual is gonna do useful things. So here's the funny thing. It's not necessarily that my internet is always unreliable. There's specifically a window between like 12 or between 1 to 4 every day where every now and then it'll just decide that it doesn't exist during that specific period. I guess if I were to do that kind of project, it would be more more early in the day, maybe. So I guess there's that. I mean, I would expect it to be a pretty friggin' long-term project, I will tell you that much. Like, when I ended up getting the story completion cape when I was playing it back in the day, that took me kind of on and off like 6 years, although that being said, I've seen people saying that they speedrun it in like a month, so I'm sure that's possible. Why anybody speedruns MMOs is beyond me, but hey, there's that. Let's see. Machine. Because yeah, the mode that I was going to go do it on, more than likely was going to be Ultimate Iron Man mode. Which, honestly, there were two that I was kind of throwing side to side between. One of them was Ultimate Iron Man mode, the other one was just Hardcore Iron Man mode. HC, what that one does is just you can't use any player help whatsoever at all. If any other player shows up and basically douches you out of a certain thing, if they just even touch the friggin' thing, you are completely out of anything that they would have dropped whatsoever. There are no exceptions to that, so honestly, the fewer people there, the better. If, well, let's see, if you can't accept any help of any kind, no other people can go into your house, you can't go into other people's houses, so for all intents and purposes, it's already basically offline. You can't buy anything overstocked at a store, which once again becomes annoying because of the fact that sometimes people will go and sell a ton of garbage to a store, which will basically leave it permanently overstocked, and then you gotta go hop worlds several times in order to be able to actually pick anything up. So it would solve that little frustration. What else? Yeah, if at any point you end up dying, it ends up resetting to a basic HC account, which is just basically single player instead of, you know, the whole one life mode. And then if you go for ultimate, it basically completely blocks off banks. So honestly, I figure that one's more annoying than it is interesting, but you know, would kind of leave that up to anybody that would be interested in taking a look at it. So yeah, I wasn't expecting to take a look at a whole lot of hints or anything anyway. And yeah, by and large, other people being there would just be an annoyance. So it's going to be extreme loner mode for all intents and purposes. So yeah, I think that sums that up pretty well. I mean, I think that kind of says something on its own that an MMO can actually function as a standalone game. And as much as it does have a fair bit of grinding to it, I would probably end up just cutting out any of that, for obvious reasons. But it's a lot less grinding than you may expect, and that's mostly just because there's a crapload of different skills that it's split between. So instead of just, you know, a handful of things here and there, I think it was like 35 or something different ones. Some of them go up really fast, some of them go pretty slow. But yeah, I don't really know how to do that whole private server thing, but that definitely sounds appealing. I just know they had some sort of rule against that, but I don't know how far that rule extended. You happen to know? I don't exactly want it to be a sort of thing where it just gets deleted friggin', you know, several months into the run or something. I think the only thing that it would actually end up excluding would probably be something like high scores, which I don't expect to touch anything on there anyway. So, so there's that. Like, I know they have a separate high score thing for people going specifically on that mode, but that sounds... I'm sure there's plenty of people that have just gotten through the entire thing. Like, oh yeah, I got through the entire thing with only a toothpick, and, you know, here's everything completely maxed out. Here's every single possible thing achieved. Like, oh, if you look at my bank statement, I've spent like $74,000 in making all this happen. Yeah, maybe no. Actually, there was, if you've heard of Star Citizen, it's been pretty depressing taking a look at that lately. It's like, apparently they realized that they're never actually getting the thing made, so they've started charging ridiculous amounts of money for stuff. Like, the thing is, like, barely a beta at this point. They don't even have a releasable build done yet, and they've already got stuff out like, well, you can buy every single thing in it. And, yeah, so basically you can pay like 30 grand and unlock everything forever. Actually, no, I think you have to pay 1,000 in order to even have the ability to pay 30 grand or something. And despite the fact that they've made like, I think they said like 600 million in profit up to this point. It's just like, holy crap, how much do you possibly need? Like, what can you do here, you know? It's a little bit ridiculous, don't you think? So the thing's basically kinda turning into a bit of a scam, all things considered, which is kind of a downer, because I know a lot of people had their hopes up for that thing. Oh well. Things happen, I suppose. Okay, so if you're playing solo on your own computer, it won't even get to the point where it's a legal issue. Okay, cool. Sounds good. So I'm gonna have to... How do I go about doing that, then? Is there some specific place I go to? Do I have to pay for it? Is it an expensive thing? I don't know. I don't know what to do. Seems like a suspiciously short range to be locking stuff from, but if you say so. Not to mention, I'd be kind of curious to see what it looks like when everything's dead. Which is funny, because when they put out RSO3, as they're calling it, technically the story already got to the point where everything's basically dead. And then somehow everything's just fine, I guess. In fact, it's almost like they didn't really even know what to do. Because, okay, so originally, the way that it starts off, you basically start off as just a random bald guy on an island, and then you put your character together. They're just like, okay, here's how you chop a tree, here's how you start a fire, here's how you catch some shrimp, click it on that fire, okay, now you know how to make food. You go to the next thing, I'm like, oh, okay, here's some dough, here's some water, mix them together, you got yourself some bread dough, or some flour and some water, and then you make some bread dough, you make some bread, congratulations, you burned some bread, you suck, try it again, and then you go down to another thing, they're like, you know, here's a sword, go stab a giant rat thing, and then you do that, and they're like, okay, you can also shoot the giant rat thing, and then you go do that, and then you go to somebody else, and you just go through, like, tiny, quick tutorials through all of the basic stuff you'll be using, and then just dumps you off in the starter town. Like, here you go, here's a little bit for any skills that you're likely to be using at this point, and, yeah, good luck. So, in most cases, people immediately ran around and, like, died and lost all that stuff almost immediately. Personally, I did exactly that. I ran behind the frickin' castle at the start, and, yeah, I got eaten by a spider. Didn't go well. Previously, I had played WoW for a little bit, and I thought it worked the same way, so I'm like, okay, I gotta go fight spiders or something, and that's completely not how that thing works at all. Actually, the first thing you're supposed to do is to try and go get your support stuff up. So yeah, immediately went and lost all the starting supplies to a frickin' spider. And then just kind of wandered around. I think I had like a bow and 2 arrows or something that it respawned me with, because you lose all of your items when you die. except for your 3 most expensive things. Actually, no, I think it was a bow, the sword, and was it the shield? Or did it save the axe? I think it might have saved the axe, actually. Anyway. Point being, started off with next to nothing, and then just kind of ran around harassing local wildlife for a while because I couldn't figure out what to do. And several weeks later, you know, my friend was asking how I was liking this new thing. I'm like, you know, I like it, but I'm completely lost and I have no idea what to do. Got myself locked in the Haunted Mansion, so that's a thing that can happen. They actually previously didn't have a whole lot of the goofier elements on there, so it's literally just like this mostly empty mansion. That was fun. It's funny because in early versions it legit gave a like proper, almost Resident Evil feel to it. With RSC, or let's see, OSRS as they're calling it now, so the old school version, I don't know if it's I don't know if they have the goofier elements in it, but at some point they just added dancing chairs for some reason. So that's there. Alright, Mr. Denham, can you finish this, please? 27. Do you have this for 40 or something? No. But it's better, at any rate. Please, lizard, don't have a turn. And yeah, I'm actually gonna have to call it pretty soon here. I might end up coming back to do that in a few hours. Goodbye, Moldova. I'm surprised this party made it through this. Because they kind of suck. Which is good. That's exactly the point of this. So we're gonna go ahead and randomize the 2, well, possibly 2 new folks from this. There's potential for 3. Alright, by the way, a funny thing I want to point out. So if you look on the left there, you'll see Sarah. Her outfit colors are correct, but it's kind of just assumed that right after this cutscene, she just throws away her hat, just like presumably going and giving a middle finger to Lenar on the way out. Like, you know, screw you, buddy. Not everyone has to go look like your girlfriend. You know, I'm out. Alright. So, first off, let's roll the wheel. So, odd numbers are no, even numbers are yes. Are we hiring Donalto? Okay, so... hang on. What did I say was... okay, so no on Donalto. Okay, so Donalto is a no. Yes on Sarah. And no on Voltaire, dang it. Alright, we got at least 1 unique unit, so what are you gonna be? You are a pirate. Okay. Fantastic, we got Sarah the pirate. Quick save just in case, but this should be fine. We've got a buccaneer now. Okay. She can't really learn anything new, but she's a freaking pirate, so... you can do coax and evade. Okay, so evade should be amazingly useful early on. Got a lot of stuff to choose from. But can't use any of that just yet. Probably gonna do a grind fight next. But alright, anyway. That'll be that for now. I wanted to take this one a little bit further, but that whole reset ended up being a bit of an issue. Okay, thank you for showing up. It's been fun, and looking forward to the next one. So, see you then.